Seventh grade, Mr. V here. How you doing? Wednesday, one of our last remote Wednesdays. So, I don't know, enjoy it. I'm not sure, but I am looking forward to seeing you guys in a couple weeks in person on Wednesdays. But nonetheless, today I want to talk to you guys about a topic we've talked a little bit about before, and that is anger management. I like talking about this stuff, and so I find it interesting, and I've got some positive feedback from you guys wanting more, so here it is. I thought I'd start this video off by discussing the difference between healthy anger and unhealthy anger, because it's kind of unfair for me to say that anger is just bad. Anger is not just bad. It's an emotion, one of the many emotions that we experience, and to expect to walk through this life and never feel angry would be unreasonable and impossible. I think it's just kind of trying to understand the difference between a healthy anger response and a negative anger response. And so I guess I'll start by saying a healthy anger response is appropriate to the situation, right? It's appropriate to the offense, right? So if there's a small offense, that should make us a small amount angry. If something huge happens, then maybe we get more angry, right? But if somebody, I don't know, cuts in front of us on a line somewhere, like, yes, that's probably going to make you angry, but it should probably not make you so angry that you lose control in the middle of a store, right? So a healthy anger response is a response that is not used to punish somebody, to hurt somebody, to get back at somebody, to intimidate somebody, to control or manipulate somebody. Like these would be ways that we would be letting our anger show itself in a very negative way, for sure. But on the flip side, an unhealthy anger response, it's an expression. It's just what I had kind of listed before. It's an expression of your anger that is meant to get back at somebody, to hurt somebody, punish somebody. Um, Oftentimes, the intensity level of your anger far exceeds the actual offense, and it just doesn't make sense. And so, it's not that anger in itself is bad, but how we let that anger manifest itself and show itself in our life is what can be a problem sometimes, right? One other thing I wanted to mention, actually, I'll probably mention a couple other things, but we talked a little bit about this. There are different things that can cause us to have a healthy anger response or an unhealthy anger response, right? Like things that have nothing to do with the offense we're experiencing. And I think I've found in my life and talking to other people that oftentimes when we lose control the most and we let our anger turn into an unhealthy anger response, when that happens, it oftentimes has a lot more to do with other things going on in our life than just the thing we are currently experiencing. For example, anxiety. Maybe you're feeling some kind of anxiety about something else that's going on in your life. Maybe you have a big presentation coming up and you're just really stressed out and nervous about it. That could cause you to have a lower threshold for dealing with anger and therefore put you in what they might call the primitive brain and maybe more reactionary with your anger. Stress, right? There's a lot of things in life to stress about, and so most of us experience stress at different times. So stress can oftentimes contribute to why we act out of our primitive or reactionary brain and have an unhealthy anger response. Um, Being tired. We're all so busy. I know that oftentimes when I'm tired is when I'm more snappy, and uh, I oftentimes will have a poor anger response for sure. Another one, big one for a lot of people, is when you're hungry. I know when I'm hungry, same thing, and even when I'm sick. So hungry, sick, tired, all of these things. Sometimes we're feeling all of those things at once, but the point is that all of these things, these external things that have nothing to do with the fact that somebody just cut you off in the parking lot, these things can oftentimes contribute more to our anger response than how we actually feel about the thing that initially got us upset. And so that leads me to the last thing I want to talk about is, what do you do? Like, what do you do if you find yourself acting out of your primitive brain, they call it, that reactionary brain where you're just kind of snapping and not thinking? You're acting out of the primitive brain as opposed to what they would call the evolved brain, the more rational part of our brain. What do you do when you're struggling to be rational and have an appropriate response? Well, what I would suggest that you might say to yourself is this: what do I need right now to be okay? What is it that I need in order to be okay? And I also want to say that the answer to that question should be something you can do, not what the other person can do, right? So the answer can't be, well, I need that person to not have cut me off. Well, that's not helpful. It already happened and you can't change that person, right? Or the answer can't be, well, I need that person not to have such an attitude with me the next time I talk to them, right? Like that can't be the solution because you are, again, are not in control of the other person. And, you know, if you came across somebody who had an attitude with you, that won't be the last time. It'll probably happen again. So the question that you need to ask yourself again is, what is it that I need right now in order to be okay? What do I need? And you might find through asking that question that you start to become more rational and thoughtful, and therefore get outside of the primitive brain and into the what they call the evolved brain. And now you're starting to ask yourself productive questions, right? And you start to have more of an awareness of what's going on for you, right? And that's when then you can say, wow, I realize I actually slept really bad last night. I got like 3 hours and I didn't really eat a good breakfast. So I'm tired and hungry. And so, gosh, wow, look at that. That's actually so what I really need in this moment in order to calm myself down is to eat and rest, right? And now you've just had a productive conversation. You've calmed yourself down. You now have more awareness of the situation, and it's just a good way to de-escalate yourself and also learn more about yourself, so that next time maybe you can not react the way you did. So that's what I got for you guys. A little basic anger management for you right there. I'm hoping it was helpful. Maybe you learned something. Maybe you didn't. It was a good refresher for me, though. In the meantime, definitely leave me some comments. Give me a like. Do share it with a friend. Do something. Get it out there. I hope it was helpful. Until the next time I see you, stay motivated, everybody.